I am super pumped about this week's podcast. Belinda Norton is in the house. She is the Fit Mama. She's the editor of Fit and Flexible, and she's our go-to when it comes to all things women. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me, Greg.
I think it's going to be a fun podcast. I can't wait to start.
Me either. Let's do it.
Let's rip in.
Welcome to the Body Science Podcast. As always, the information contained in this podcast is for the information purposes only and is not designed to diagnose or be prescriptive to treat, prevent, or manage any injury, disease, or other health-related condition.
Welcome to Body Science HQ, the world of fit, happy, healthy. And I'm going to throw on the end of this 5 books by Belinda Norton. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. So we sort of crossed paths in the early days back in August in 2016, and we were launching Shred, I think it was.
Yes.
You came on board to be our you don't need to be 19 years old to be fit.
That's exactly right. I think at the time when, I would have been, over 40. So,
Yeah, were you really?
No. Actually, I would have been 39.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was one of the best photo shoots and campaigns we've ever done, and it was awesome fun to do too.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And what a connection we've had since then.
Yeah, it's been fun. We're both Gold Coast kids.
Absolutely.
You know, I see you every morning. I try to get you to send text messages with surf reports in the morning, but you put out beautiful images every day through your Insta.
Thank you.
While we're here, for those people that don't know, what is your Instagram account?
It's belinda.n.x.
Cool. So for people out there, the reason you've come in, you really specialise in that fit mama space. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, well, in women's wellness and health, because originally I'm a health and physical education teacher.
Yep.
And what we found was that there was a real need for mums needing help after they'd had children, and being in the space of working in education, then I was dealing with that every day. So I definitely saw a need for that.
And your need sort of started from something interesting, because you sort of started your journey writing a piece, and excuse me if I get this wrong, because I was a bad wife.
Yes.
Now that's a really interesting topic, and this is probably before clickbait days. Like that's a cool topic.
Yeah. Well, originally, what happened was obviously I'd had children, and I was finding myself after I'd had children, and then sadly I became divorced, and so that was just the what was said to me. So and so then I went from there and wrote because I was a bad wife. Everybody got to know me very quickly.
Yeah. Wow. And I'll be honest, I've seen that pop up a lot of business places. Actually, you do a lot of talking to groups of females.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of your specialties.
Yes, I love speaking to women and motivating them to be better than they are. And because most women believe that they aren't enough. And every single day, I was talking to someone the other day, and we believe that men wake up in the morning and they will actually walk to the mirror totally naked, and they'll be like, yeah, look at me, woohoo. Whereas women, we won't do that at all. We will avoid the mirror and not look at ourselves and be totally embarrassed by what we're walking around in. Whereas men just tend to be able to just roll it off their shoulders and not worry about it.
I'm no expert. That's got to be a primal thing, doesn't it?
No, I don't know. Maybe it's just alpha males.
Yeah, maybe. It doesn't have a lot in my house. I'll give you that. Oh, maybe if I drop 20 kilos, that might change. But, we're not going to sit here and talk about wonderful things that could happen one day.
No, you're enough, Greg. You're enough.
Appreciate
you need
that. That's it. Bring
celebrate
it in.
you.
Exactly. I love it.
Celebrate the body that you're walking around in. I think that's one of the biggest points that we're forgetting to do. Weight loss, I think the word weight loss is becoming obsolete because we're learning to love our bodies more. And I think we really need to believe that we're celebrating our bodies and exercise isn't a chore. As soon as we take that mindset out, we find a better space within ourselves.
So, Belinda, how does the journey go? You've written a book, Because I Was a Bad Wife. Obviously, you were probably in a little bit of a dark space at some stage leading into that. Like, you now are a shining light and like a beacon for health and fitness. And I don't think there'd be many people that would argue that, you've done an amazing job on putting out your message to people.
Thanks.
How did you get out of that? Like leading up to that, there must have been a hole. Like I'm assuming, but there must have been a dark hole. How did you get out of that to be where you're at now?
No, well, originally what happened was, so I used to be a triathlete, as you know, and then from there, I've always known about my body and I've always been a very positive person. I had children, and I definitely, after having children and losing that sense of self, because you give everything to your children and to your family after having them. Losing that sense of self there, I did feel like I was faltering a little bit, and that's where I put on weight. And then to find myself and get myself out of that hole, I had to find a new set of motivation. Unfortunately, when I was in that hole and gaining weight, that is where my marriage started to break down. And that's where, because I was a bad wife, when I wrote that, it's actually a really positive book, but I've written it with the cover as that and the name as that. But if you read it, it's very uplifting. So, it was just, an interesting way for people to see themselves. Oh, I was a bad wife too. So they're going to pick it up and be interested in it. But really, it's a positive term.
Yeah, nice. And your little community that you've created, are they really, like, you've just put out a book called Fit and Flexible by Wellbeing?
Yes.
Now, that is a very cool piece of literature, the touch, the feel, like it's very cool. And there's no ads in it either?
No, not an ad in it.
So how do you go to a magazine that makes money selling ads and tell them, I want to do this piece?
Well, I already am a contributing fitness writer for Wellbeing Magazine, so I contribute to all of their editions, and I have for the past 3 years. And so it was just this year after COVID, and everyone was really stuck in a rut. And the team pretty much asked me, Belinda, will you write something that's inspiring to people, that's to get them to start up or step up? And I said, absolutely. So this is Fit and Flexible, and it's all inclusive of all ages. So Fit Mama was very targeted at women and women with children, but Fit and Flexible it's fitness of your body and posture and confidence, but flexible in the mind, in the body and in the soul. So it's not just about, and flexible in your food. So that 80-20 rule. So there's no stipulation of exact diet in there, because I don't believe that that's correct anyway. Great. It's in nourishing your system.
Yeah, and I mean, anyone who jumps on your Insta will see you're a big believer in what you're preaching there too. So it's actually a workbook. It's got journaling with it. So it's an active thing you pick up. And because I talk to a lot of experts, and they give me their perception on their area of expertise, and I love it. Yeah. But I go, how do we start? Yeah. Over and over again. And they look at me and go, oh, I haven't actually been asked that question before. I'll just tell people what they should do. And it's really nice that you've put together this. And it's, wow, how many pages is that?
Oh, it's pretty big. I think 90 something. I think,
103. Yeah, well, look at 104. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of me time in that.
Yeah. And that's the idea. The first initial part is all about your mindset, your habit building and your routines. And then we go through the journey of, let's just start with 7 exercises. I just want you to do these 7 a day and see how you feel in a week. And then we step up to the next part and we journal it down. And then we start to add in the variations of different exercise routines that I've put in there, whether it be resistance with bands, whether it be weights, whether it be more Pilates, yoga style. But I've put all the different variations of exercise in there so people can really find their own niche or their own celebration of their body.
I love that. Just let me write that down, celebration of body. No. So let's not muck around. You mentioned a second ago that you're in triathlon.
Yeah, I used to. Yep. I used to be a triathlete.
So I also noticed that Emma Snowsill has recommended your book on the front cover.
Yes.
What type of triathlete were you? Because I know what she was.
Well, I was actually Emma's training partner.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, so Emma and I were placed together. So Emma was 15 and I was 18 when we met. We were part of Jenny Alcorn's group here in Surfers Paradise Triathlon. Yeah, so and then we got placed together as teammates and training buddies by Bill Davron, our coach, who also went to Collingwood as the sports development, I think. Yeah. So Bill placed us together, and then I pretty much was Emma's work partner. So we trained a lot together, and that was of the era of Luke Harrop and everyone that
some
we
big
know.
Names in the
there was huge
then,
names. So Luke McKenzie now and everyone in that group was all part of our team.
Yeah, Luke McKenzie used to be with us for a little while back in the old days. So you've gone on to be triathlete to a mum.
Yes.
Am I getting this right?
Yes.
So I see that you don't train alone a lot these days. There might be another little blondie next to you having a little training session. Are you loving training with the family?
Yeah. Well, my children...
It's like a little mini me. It looks exactly the same and it acts exactly the same, and you've obviously been working on the stance together because it's got the stance as well.
It is. She absolutely is my mini me. But both of my two have always been with me. So from the get-go, as soon as I could run after giving birth, which is not a suggestion to any woman, that I was training with the kids.
Yeah.
So they would be in the pram and they don't know any different to that. So they would always come with me wherever we went. They would come to the gym. They would do everything with me. They were just part of it. So now they know no different. So I started them on a gym session, like home gym, and then they've now joined the gym at 15. And so they'll come to the gym in the mornings or afternoons, depending on what fits with their schedule.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the little entrepreneur sitting inside you.
Yeah.
So, and if we can add some wealth here to people who listen, because you've taken some big steps in life. You've got your degree. You've been a triathlete, so you've done the athlete and the education part part, which a lot of people miss. They do one or the other. How did you become Belinda, the fitness guru, where you're writing for magazines, you're publishing books, your Insta account is on tap? Like, how did you take that step forward for all those people out there who think, I wish I could do that?
Well, first of all, it's always been about helping others be better. I really enjoy to see people succeed. I think that comes as part of education. I want people to grow within themselves and be as best possible people that they can be.
Yep.
And so it's come from there. But I'm extremely motivated and driven within myself. And also, I think adversity really knocks you for six. And so when that happened, I knew I could only get up, stand up and move forward. One of the real driving factors for me when I became a solo mum was, if my house burns down, I got to carry these kids out of here.
Yeah, that's a fair motivator.
And I thought, that's my real point of difference. I've got to stay super strong and super healthy because I'm the only one. So
wow.
Yeah. And so, and I know, and for some people that's really confronting because you don't have a male in the house, and it is hard to come from a marriage to doing everything alone, mowing, cleaning, fixing, working, organising and looking after the teens, and then moving, going into your normal day job and writing at the same time. But I knew financially I needed to do something else because my normal wage wasn't enough. And second of all, I needed strength within my body and my mind to be able to rescue my kids if need be.
That is an awesome driver. It reminds me a lot of a friend of mine, Mark Matthews, who paddled over big waves to get, and he talks about fear. That's his thing he did. And he talked in the early days about he feared more that his mum and dad wouldn't have houses and all that stuff. He comes from down Sydney way. I won't go too deep on it. Yeah. But he, very similar, something that you could really had a real purpose. Like that's not something you're going to go, I'm going to lose weight today. And 2 weeks later you go, I've had enough of that. I'm going to get on the piss and have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
You actually had a true driver that you had your kids.
Yeah.
And from there you've gone on to become somebody who speaks at events on personal development. And so actually, while we're here, we'll do a quick little ad for you. If somebody does want to grab you to come and speak to them, how do they get you?
Yeah, just contact me, send a message on the back end, like DM me on Instagram, or you can just go to belindanorton.com and you can follow the links in there for my email
and that's
address.
One word, belindanorton.com?
Yes.
And your Insta account again?
belinda.n.x.
Perfect. So if anyone out there is looking to get inspirational female, and not that I like using the term female and male because you're an exceptional human, but if you want, your niche is...
Well, that's my expertise is with women's fitness and wellness and children's.
Yeah, I love what you do in the industry. There's a lot of people in the industry, and I say it over and over again, there's some that I really respect, and you're one of those people.
Thank you, Greg. So, I really appreciate that.
I remember when I met you back in 2016, I thought, wow, who's this chick? Let's talk about aging. I mean, that's a specialty you've got. Yeah. What type of, are we going to talk about a day in the life of you to get an idea of how that works?
Sure.
Or do you want to hit some aging just straight up with some hardcores?
No, well, I'll go through a day in the life of, and then we can touch on that aging parts, that's for sure. Because aging as an athlete, aging for everybody involved. So first of all, a day in the life of me is definitely I will wake up very early. So it's 4 a.m. currently because I need to get to the gym and my daughter comes with me at that time, home, and then head down the beach for sunrise for a walk on the beach.
Yeah, nice.
And that is that major morning sunlight, and the vitamin D that is produced from that within the body is the most potent for your wellness. And I cannot push it so much that I would love everybody if they could just get up and walk for 30 minutes every single morning, the difference in their body, their mind, and going into work for the day.
Well,
Take
Belinda,
your children.
We can do that because we all have the same amount of minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You're setting an alarm at 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's a big step, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's a commitment to me, a celebration to me and to my children, and to show them that we have to work hard. I think one important point, and I'll just divert for 1 second, is we're so obsessed with being comfortable. And it's so frustrating. Rather than realistically, being uncomfortable is where we develop within ourselves, where we find ourselves, where we show our children that life is not comfortable. Yeah. And I think that's such an important,
That is a great point. I'm a good mate of mine, Luke.
Yes.
Writes so many articles around that topic. I mean, you and Luke obviously being authors hang out together a bit too. Yeah. What does he say? Being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah. We say it to each other.
Yeah. And it's good because you're probably mentoring each other and pushing each other into new places, which is, you need those people around you. And Luke's one of my good mates. So I love him. Let's get back to you though, your day in life. So you've got up at 4 o'clock. You've been to the gym with the kids. You've hit the beach.
Yes, hit the beach. beach for a walk and then home for
breakfast. You've not sent a surf report to all the locals,
No,
but we won't go on about that. There'll be a nice picture of the ocean, but it'll be a nice picture, not a surf report.
Oh, come on. Sometimes I'll zoom in for you and I'll write, you know who this is for, and I'll tag you. So then home for breakfast. And breakfast is either one of two things. It's either eggs one day and then it's either muesli or oats the next day. And then it's making the lunches.
Is that to make the habit simple, or is that because that's what you want to drive you during the day?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Yes. And both of them. So depending on how busy we are, depending on if one child has to get to AFL footy training in the morning or whatever it is. But it has, and I think it's great for budgeting too. Like we don't have time to
That's not an expensive breakfast, is it?
No. We don't have time to constantly think of something new every morning, and that's exactly why I do just the swap it over.
So your morning's really routine driven.
My life's really routine driven. Yeah.
And that's part of that success.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you want to get anywhere in life, you need to be able to fill those minutes and make quality over quantity for everything that you do.
Yep.
Quality in, and
For us coffee drinkers, has there been a coffee yet?
No. There's a coffee at breakfast.
No, starting to get a bit worried that you weren't normal.
Oh, there's also a pre-workout at 4 a.m. too,
Yeah, we love a good pre-workout at 4 a.m. in the morning. So you've the habit started, you've picked 1 or 2 brekkies. So how does the day go then?
Yeah, and then it's making lunches and then off to work. So I've got to be at work 7:45. So then it's the kids and I off to work and then and school and then full day and then home, and then depending on what's on in the afternoon, there might be another training session in the afternoon, or most of the time I'll have work to do within, writing or catching up there. And then dinners are really specific with like 7 nights. We know what is going to be happening on those, and then we do a rotation because that's the best way to do it too.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone knows there's no questions. What's for dinner? Can't stand that question.
No, it can be a regular one at my place because until Taj moved out, it didn't matter whether we did a $100 shop or a $400 shop, there was no food. So it's but he's just moved out.
Oh, congratulations,
Taj.
Taj.
Had to cut the little cord there.
Yeah, how's the washing going?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fine, yeah. Oh, do you drop it back at home?
I've got to apologise to him too, because I used to go on about never emptying the bin.
Yeah.
I can actually say he emptied it a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, because in the few days that he's been out, I've had to empty the bin a shitload. And I'm just got to respect him if he moves back home and give him a little bit more cred where it's deserved.
Yeah.
But, that's a typical dad.
Yeah, oh, no, that's a typical parent.
Yeah.
And don't be so hard on yourself.
Exactly.
Hi, I'm Tom Green, Olympic champ from Tokyo, and if you want the best tasting protein bars on the market, you should try the new Body Science Mousse range. Greg, you better be testing these.
Mate, they're getting drug tested, got you covered. So here's the million-dollar question, where do you see the fitness industry going?
Well, it's in an interesting part right now, especially with, this is going to be a very challenging one, because I find that what we're losing sight of right now is we're loving ourselves, but we're loving ourselves into oblivion in a lot of ways, and we're losing our wellness because of it. And it's easy to do because we get comfortable.
Yep.
I think what our biggest issue is we see and we've forgotten how we feel. So we are all visual now. Everything that we see is an image. We see food, we see this, we're obsessed with this, we want it now. And so that type of comfort, and then what we're not doing is we're forgetting to feel within our body. We're forgetting to connect with people. So a lot of people don't understand that their body, what they're eating now is actually toxifying their body, and they're getting sicker and sicker. And then to come off those addictive sugars, etc., it's really torturous for many people.
So you're a fan of back off on the sugar?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There's times when you want to have sugar, and there's times, for example, there's sugar and alcohol. I think that balance, what you want to be focusing on is nourishing your body. Nourishing your blood is what I say constantly. Nice. And so the more that you put in that is mineral loaded, or pretty much it's from the earth, or it's walked on the earth, or swam in the sea, you want to eat that. But anything that's coming pretty much out of a packet, then you're going to try, they're your sometimes foods. They're your 20%ers.
And you put a fair bit of your shopping up on your Insta so people can see the reality of what you're doing to live.
Yeah.
Do the kids bite back on any of that at all? Are they?
Oh, yeah, yes and no. It depends. One's particularly good. She, there you go. She'll just eat whatever's put in front front of her. My son, he doesn't love everything, and that's fine, but he does his best, and that's what I say
that's
to
all
them.
you can ask for, isn't it?
Yeah. It's in the end, it's your own choice, isn't it? But then I'll ask him, but how did that make you feel? Oh, yeah.
That's a boy, though.
It isn't it? Isn't it? That's a 17-year-old boy.
That's a boy.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. So what's next for you?
Well, there's lots going on at the moment. Bits and pieces around. I'm absolutely trying to get more into motivational speaking. Got a couple of things in the pipeline that I'll tell you off mic.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but as long as I can keep helping people, genuinely inspiring people to be better within themselves, be better within their body, that's the most important thing.
Nice. Do you actually have a community that you talk to? Like, can someone join your community? Am I putting that across correctly?
Yeah. Well, what I do is most of the time I'll talk through Instagram, or because I find that gets the most people in.
Come on, you do any TikTok?
No. Oh, yeah, I did. Well,
Stop
only when my daughter sets it up and puts it through my page.
Hey, you got to get that TikTok going.
I know, that's exactly right. I've heard that just for basic stuff too.
Right.
Yeah, maybe I'm out of that category.
Not like you just said that at all. Come on, Belinda, you can get that TikTok going. You can get that body alignment posture stuff that you're loving.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. Like, I think that's so funny that you mentioned posture just then. And I just did an Instagram post about it the other day, and it was really interesting the amount of people that contacted me about it, actually realising right then and there that, it is about my posture. And I actually spoke to the women of the Gold Coast just on Sunday at a luncheon about it, and I made them all they were sitting down, they were all sort of slouching and trying to listen and leaning on, And I said, well, hold on a second right now. I want you to sit up straight and roll your shoulders back. And I said to them, the biggest point that you need to remember is open your heart space. And as soon as you go and open your heart space, you take a deep breath.
Yes.
And I've actually got a tattoo on my wrist that's an open heart, just so I can remember.
Nice.
Yeah, so open your heart, because as soon as you open your heart, you actually open your face and you open your smile. So you're already magnetic and energized, and people are then attracted to you to have a chat to you or want to know more.
That is such a valid point that people never talk about. Like, I talk to a lot of experts on this space, and that's really interesting that you've simplified that down to what was it?
So roll your shoulders back, open your heart space, and take a breath in and out. But as soon as you do that, you light up in your face, you light up in your smile, your eyes pop, and you're magnetic to the other person.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you doing that at 4 o'clock in the morning when you're in the gym?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think I'm a bit of a weirdo. Like, I walk around a lot of the time with this weird smile on my face, and I think, but then sometimes I'm not, You
can never have too much smile, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So, Belinda, like, from one girl to another.
You can be whoever you want to be.
What are the massive changes of body you've noticed through your fitness career? Like, you're one of the pioneers in like that Instagram world. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
What have you noticed there's a whole group of people coming through, and there's big booties, there's six-pack girls, there's a whole lot of issues in the fitness industry that aren't all health related.
Absolutely.
What have you noticed from your journey and that aging aspect?
Yeah. So
are we allowed to talk about aging? I'm get slapped around here. We are. Bring it on.
Definitely. We love talking about aging. It's real. Anything that's real and raw, I think we need to actually touch on constantly. So first of all, being a triathlete, like we knew different things even at that time. I think we've learnt so much within exercise and fitness over these years. So I first started my website in 2013 and Instagram in 2013. And the only reason why it went gangbusters was
was Instagram in 2013, kids, for those who are listening.
Was the initials. You should go back and right to the bottom of mine. All right, go and have a look. It was when I was training with my children, and that was unique at that time. And there wasn't very many, there was no mums doing that type of thing. So that's how it sort of went for me. I've really noticed within my body, especially from triathlon and then after children to even now, that, your body changes, and you have to look at it that it's okay that it's changing. For example, my torso has thickened as I've gotten a little bit older. 42 was really the boom time for that. It was a bit of a tragedy, I must say. Previously to that, it maintained really. But what I've focused on the entire time is alignment. So I'm obsessed with alignment of the body, alignment of posture. And so looking at those straight lines, I know, look at you sitting up right now.
Sit up right.
Yeah. So straight lines across your shoulders. Yeah, that's exactly right. Straight through your spine and sitting down, and even just balancing off your hips that you're sitting on, your feet flat on the floor. But keeping everything in alignment, straight away you feel better. And I think that's a lot of the problems with many people with injuries at the moment is they're not aligned when they're training. They're rushing to get things done. They're focusing more on the see again that we were talking about rather than the feel. When we're training, we need to focus. So put down the goddamn phones at the gym, people, please. Put your AirPods in, listen to music, awesome, but focus on feeling your body as it's moving. Focus on your muscles.
Yeah, nice. I love that. So finishing up, body health begins with self-respect. Mm-hmm. Posture drives that forward.
Yeah, and confidence.
And confidence.
Yeah. So if you have self-respect, you wouldn't, I'm going to say this, if you have self-respect, you're not going to put shit in your body, right? You're going to make sure that it is going to help you. Like it just surprises me that, well, that was my first point in when I realized when I was putting on weight and not feeling great about myself was I wasn't respecting myself at all. I was just doing something because you get into that mindset. And I see it day to day within people. It's their self-respect. If you respect yourself, you're not going to torture yourself. So we need to really think about that. And then that's where if you have self-respect, then you're going to have better posture and you're going to work on that alignment and mobility in your body, because that's what fitness is really about, celebrating your mobility for longevity, for living well, for aging well. We all want to live as long as we possibly can to see every milestone of our children or the people around us. We want to live to the best. So why aren't we having that self-respect and maintaining that mobility to celebrate life?
I love it. What a way to end a podcast. That's absolutely awesome. Anyone out there that is looking to hook up with Belinda, I'm going to say it again. Your Insta account is
Belinda.
When I say hook up, I mean DM for some coaching and training. So you do one-on-ones, you do group, you do a whole lot of things in the fitness space, and so you can pretty much solution anything for anyone who needs.
Absolutely. And there's plenty of literature out there and magazines and books if you just like that too, because some of us, we're getting a bit embarrassed.
I know Fit Mama was a big one.
Yes.
People love that book.
Yes.
And your latest by Wellbeing, Fit and Flexible. Where do people get that?
So Coles and Woolies.
Wow.
Every shelf Australia-wide is Fit and Flexible is out right now.
So when you're going in to get your protein bars next week, you can stop in and grab a beautiful blue cover.
Yes.
That's a nice blue, actually.
It is.
Fit and Flexible. And you wrote the whole book.
The whole thing. Editor of the whole thing.
I love it. And it's got some great shots in it, and it's journal quality. There's lots of steps and reinvigorating programs. Well done.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Coles and Woolies, get it.